Hi guys, welcome back. Today is part 3 of the factoring series. Today we'll be doing factoring of polynomials. Be sure to first go watch part 1 and 2 if you have not done so yet. Please subscribe and hit the bell so that you can get notified when we upload new parts to the series. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you and make a new video. You can even send maths problems that you have in the comments and I will make a video for you. Enjoy! Let's look at the first example. Factoring of polynomials should not be that hard. You should not have to guess. So I'm going to tell you a neat little trick that I learned that will help you with your factorizing. Let's take a look at the first one, the x squared, and then you get 7x and then you get plus 12. I will show you how I do this. First you draw a little cross like this. Then you take your first one, which is x squared. Luckily it does not have a coefficient. Later on I will tell you how to do it. It is the same, it just gets a little bit more advanced, but it doesn't really change the method. So how do you get x squared? In this instance, it's easy. You just say x times x. And that gives you x squared. Next, you take your 7x. And be sure to put the positive, because if it's a negative, it will influence your answer. So be sure to put your positive 7x. Then we have our 12. Let's first look at the factors of 12, because that is going to help you to determine what are you going to write here. So 12, let's just write it here. It could be 1 times 12. It could also be 2 times 6. It could also be 3 times 4. The quickest way to know which one you will choose is to look at the 7. You will look, does 1 and 12, can that make 7? No. Can a 2 and a 6 make a 7? No. So only the 3 and the 4 is really something that could make a 7. So let's put the 3 and the 4. Now you will see I always multiply, cross multiply. For now it does not matter because they are both x. So if you say x times 3 and you get 3x, or x times 3 and you get, let me just do it like this, and you get 3x, or you go across and you get 3x, it would not make a difference. But say here was a 2, then it would make a difference because then it would be 2x times 3 is 6x. So just remember that we always cross multiply. X times 3, 3x. And x times 4 will give you 4x. Now the only question would be how to get a positive 7x. In this instance it would be easy, because it's just 3 plus 4. But you'll see later we'll do examples where it's a negative, and then sometimes you will have a negative 3 and a negative 4 to make a negative 7. Or sometimes you have something like 3 plus 4, or negative 3 plus 4, and you get 1. You'll see what I'm saying. So for this instance, it's not that hard. It's just a positive 3 and a positive 4, which gives you 3 plus 4 is 7. And then you have your 7x. The next step is to put this plus here and also this plus here. And this is where you will have your answer. So the x plus 3 and the x plus 4 is then your answer. Let me go write it for you. So you put x plus 3, and that you found here. And the next bracket you'll have x plus 4. And that you found here. And you will see that now it is factorized. And be sure to always check your answer. How do you do this? You will say, what is positive 3 times positive 4? Is it 12? Yes, it is 12. And if it was not, then you would know that somewhere over here you did a calculation fault, or one of your addings was wrong, or maybe a a plus or a minus that you had to change, but it's not that bad when it's a positive and a positive. Normally it comes in when there's a positive and a negative. Then you could sometimes think that you are right here, but then when you do your end result, then you see, oh, I did make a mistake. But we will do many more examples and you will see what I mean. Here is another example. Here we see we have a minus and a plus. So it is a little bit different than the previous one. First, we draw our cross. Now you will see the x squared, the negative x, and the 16. Okay, so as I said, x squared. As I said, it's easy for now because it's just x and x. Later we'll do one where the coefficient is not 1. Then we have 16. For now, let's say 16. It could be 1 times 16. It could be 2 times 8. Could be 4 times 4. Once again, we need something that makes negative 8. So a 1 and a 16 will not make 8. 2 and an 8, no, it will not make. Only a 4 and a 4 will work. You will see sometimes there's lots, and then you'll have to do a little bit of a trial and error. So maybe you choose 2 and 8, and then you see, oh, okay, no, it's not going to make a negative 8. But most of the time when you draw here, you can see one of them will give you the answer. So for now, it's 4 and 4. Remember that I said we cross multiply. X times 4 is 4x. And again, x times 4 is 4x. Now comes the difference. This time we need a negative 8. So 4 plus 4 will give you 8. But a negative 4 minus 4 will give you negative 8. Then the next one is you put your minus and you put this minus there. And now you have your answer. So remember, whatever you put here, you just go write it here, and the same, you take what you have here and you write it there, a minus or a plus. Okay, then you are ready to do your two brackets. First bracket, x minus 4, which we got here. The next bracket, the same, x minus 4. Remember now to always check your answer. Is a negative 4 times a negative 4, is it positive 16? Yes, it is. And then you know it is correctly factorized. Let's take a look at one where we have a negative and another negative. So by now you know, you draw x squared, negative 6x, and now you will see you have a negative 27, but you don't put the negative. You always just put whatever the answer is. So just the 27 without the sign. You will see why. We don't need the sign. So for now, x and x. In the next one, we'll do one with a coefficient and you will see the difference. Then we have 27. Now 27, 1 times 27, or 3 times 9. 1 and 27 will never give you 6. So in this instance, it's quite easy to see. It will be 3 and 9. What do we do now? We cross multiply. X times 3, 3x. And x times 9 is 9x. This is now where the difference comes in. Now we have a negative 6. So now you will have to see 3 plus 9 is not negative 6. Negative 9 minus 3 is not negative 6. But if you have negative 9 and you add 3, that will give you negative 6. So what do you do now? We take our positive and we put it here. We take our negative and we put it here. And now we are ready to do our answer. First bracket, x plus 3. And the next bracket, x minus 9. Let's quickly do our check. Is a positive 3 times a negative 9 negative 27? Yes, it is, because a plus and a minus will give you a minus. And that is very important, because if you have two negatives, then it will give you a positive. Or if you have two positives, it also give you a positive. So the actually you can always remember if there's a negative here. Like I said, you don't put it here, but you can always remember that in your answer you will always have a positive and a negative, because that is the only way that you will have a negative at the end. And there you go, it is now factorized. Well done. We are now ready to move on. You will see that in this sum we have a coefficient for x squared. So it's not just x and x, it is a 2x squared. You work with the same principles. You first draw, but now you have a 2x squared and not just an x squared. We still have our 7x, and you can put your positive just to remember, and we have our 3. Okay, 2x squared, we can still say 2 is just 2 times 1. So the only thing that you can do is 2 and a 1. X and x will give you x squared. It does not matter if you put the 1x here and the 2x there, as long as just now you'll see when we cross multiply, you just multiply correctly. Let's move on. 3. 3 can only be 3 times 1. But now is where the difference comes in. Do you put the 3? Do you put the 3 here and 1, or do you put the 1 on top and the 3? That is where a little bit of trial and error comes in. Let's first do it the wrong way. But we say we didn't know. Let's say we thought, okay, let's put the 3 here and the 1 here. And now this is where the cross multiplication is very important. We would say 2 times 1 is 2x. And 1 times 3 is 3x. But then we see, oh, now we have a problem, because 3 and 2 will never give you 7. Then you see, okay, something will have to change. Let's erase. And we just swap this 2 around. So you just put the 1 and you put the 3. Now when you cross multiply, you get 1x. And you cross multiply 2 and 3, you will get 6x. Now it's easier to get a positive 7, because 1 plus 6 will give you 7. Remember to put your plus there, and if here's a plus, you also put your plus. And now we are ready to do our factors. First bracket, 2x plus 1. Where did we get that? We found it here, and the next bracket you will find underneath. And that would be x plus 3. So a little bit more complicated than the previous ones, but still, if you use this trick, it is not that difficult. Let's quickly do our final check. Is 1 times 3 3? Yes, it is. And there you go, it is now factorized. The last one that we are going to do is a little bit more complicated. Let's first think of part 1 of our factoring series. What was the most important thing that you have to look at when factorizing? You first have to always check if can you take something out. Is there a common factor that you can take out? And in this instance, yes, it can all be divided by 2. So we will take out a 2. Then you are left with 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. And now you are able to factorize this. So let's start again. In this instance, it's 3x squared negative 8x, and we have our 4. Okay, let's start with the easy one, the 3x squared. The only thing that 3 can be is 1 times 3. And as mentioned, it doesn't matter if you put a 1 and the 3, or the 3 and the 1, as long as just now we're going to cross multiply, and that is done correctly. So I will just do the 3 and the 1, which makes 3, and the x, and an x gives you x squared. Now, this is where the trick comes in. 4. 4 can be 4 times 1, and it can be 2 times 2. So let's do 4 times 1, because it's not that simple as looking as is 4 and 1 8 or is 2 and 2 8, because not either one of them will be, because in this instance we have the coefficient of 3, and that makes it a little bit more harder to do. But we can just do a quick trial and error, and it won't take you that long. So let's start with a 4 and a 1. We can do 4 and 1. 3 times 1 is 3x. And 1 times 4 is 4x. And now you will see 4 and 3 is never going to give you 8. So then you know, okay, that is wrong. I'm just going to do this. Let's just erase it. And I'll show you, we could just swap it around. We could put the 1 there and the 4 there. But quickly we'll see that that would make 12. And a 12 and a 1 will never give you 8. So then you see, okay, 4 and 1 is probably not going to help you. So then we will rather take the 2 and the 2. And now, because they are the same, it does not matter which is on top and which is at the bottom. Let's take 1 times 2, 2x. 3 times 2, 6x. Now, 6 and 2 can give you 8, but we need a negative 8. How do we get a negative 8? Well, we start with a negative 2, and if you then subtract 6, you will get negative 8. And that is our answer. So, what do we do next? We take our negative, and you put it here, and we take our other negative, and we put it here. And then we have our factors. So firstly, remember the 2 we took out, it stays. Then you add your brackets. First bracket was 3x minus 2. And our next bracket, you don't have to put 1x. I just showed you the 1, but you can just put x minus 2. And then let's quickly do our check. Is negative 2 times negative 2 a positive 4? Yes, it is. And there it is fully factorized. For any questions, please leave it in the comments. Even if you have sums that you want me to work out for you, I will gladly help. I know that some of these polynomials can get a little bit tricky. And in the next part, we will carry on and I will do more factorization. So be sure to tune into part 4. Thank you. Enjoy.